Let us put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Heavenly Father, we come before you humbling ourselves, knowing that apart from you, we can do nothing. Today, as we open our session here in this August chamber, we come to you and ask you that you forgive our sins in words, in thoughts, and in deeds. Allow us to be clothed with your robe of righteousness so we can come before you. Today, Lord, we lift up to you our session, this Congress, and we pray for the success and orderly conduct of the May 12 midterm elections. We also pray, Lord Jesus, that all the 18,271 elected officials across the country stay committed to truth, to justice, and righteousness as they perform their sacred duties. We also pray for every Filipino workers across the world. We pray that despite challenges like heavy traffic and homesickness, they find renewed sense of dignity in their lives and work. We also pray for our beloved nation, the Philippines. We live in very polarizing times where division infiltrates every layer of our society. And we pray for healing, we pray for tolerance, we pray for forgiveness. Father God, into your hands we commend everything. We pray that you bless every member of the Senate, every member of the family present here today. And we continue to declare Hebrews chapter 12, verse 2, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and has sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. We lift up to you everything as we continue to give back to you all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise in the name that is above every name. In the name of Jesus Christ we pray. Everybody agree and say amen and amen.
The University of Makati Chorale will lead us in the singing of the Philippine National Anthem. Thereafter, the group shall also render a song entitled Isang Dugo, Isang Lahi, Isang Musika. You may proceed.
Bayang magiliw, pers at silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisig. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mabakaw, may dilagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kisat ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagbiringning, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng luwan at ipagsinta mo ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo. Isang lahi ang musika, ang pangarap ko'y bansang mapayapa. Ikaw at ako, tayo ay Pilipino, isang bansa na di magkaisa. Isang lahi at musika, ang pangarap ko'y bansang mapayapa. Ikaw at ako, tayo ay Pilipino, isang bansa na di magkaisa. Isang lahi at musika, ang pangarap, ang pangarap ko'y bansang mapayapa.
Our due thanks to the University of Makati Coral. Maraming salamat po. Secretary will please call the roll.
Roll call of members, the Honorable Senator Binay, Senator Cayetano Alan, Senator Cayetano Pia, Senator De La Rosa, Senator Ejercito, Senator Estrada, Senator Gatchalian, Senator Go, Senator Ontiveros, Senator Lapid, Senator Legarda, Senator Marcos, Senator Padilla, Senator Pimentel, Senator Poe, Senator Revilla, Senator Tolentino, Senator Tulfo, Senator Villanueva, Senator Villar Cynthia, Senator Villar Mark, Senator Zubiri, the Senate President.
With 22 senators present, Chair declares the presence of a quorum. Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. President, I move that we dispense with the reading of the journals of the 48th session Monday, February 3, the 49th session Tuesday, February 4, the 50th session Wednesday, February 5, 2025, and consider the same as approved.
Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved.
Mr. President, before we proceed with the order of the day, we'd like to acknowledge several personalities, guests of our colleagues, guests of the Senate President, the new Governor of Catanduanes, Governor-elect Patrick Sanza, the Mayor-elect of Naga City, former Vice President Leni Robredo, guests of the Senate, Mayor Mark Lozano of Sorsogon, guests of Senator Cayetano, Commissioner Reyes of the Legal Education Board, guests of Senator Jingoy Estrada, the Office of Civil Defense, Attorney Bendijo, Mr. Soriano and Mr. Reyes, the World Food Organization, Ms. Sohaina Abubakar and Mr. Haynes Gogale. Guests of Senator Villanueva, mayors from Camarines Norte, guests of Senator Ejercito, Mr. Sidney Carrel. Mr. President, before we proceed with the other bills for third reading, allow me, Mr. President, to deliver a short manifestation. Mr. President,
Before that, Chair would like to acknowledge the presence of the aforementioned guests. Welcome to your Senate. What is the pleasure of the Majority Floor Leader?
yes, Mr. President, this is just a short manifestation.
You may
Mr.
proceed,
President.
sir.
I respectfully deliver this manifestation to address a pressing constitutional concern.
Mr. President, the Senate received the articles of impeachment against Vice President Sara Duterte 117 days ago. Yet the trial required by Article 11, Section 3(4) of the Constitution to proceed forthwith will begin only on June 11, dangerously close to the end of the 19th Congress. This delay compromises due process and undermines our role as an impeachment court. Under the 1987 Constitution, the Senate of each Congress acts separately and independently of the Senate of the Congress before it. Only 12 senators remain after each election, insufficient to form a quorum. Thus, unlike the U.S. Senate or the Philippine Senate under the 1935 Constitution, we cannot carry unfinished proceedings into the next Congress. Allowing the 20th Congress to take over this trial would be ultra vires or beyond our constitutional power. Jurisdiction over impeachment is exclusive to the Congress that receives the complaint. Supreme Court rulings in Neri versus Senate and Balag versus Senate and our own Senate rules, Rule 44, Section 123, confirm that all legislative and investigatory matters terminate with the expiration of a Congress. This principle is affirmed internationally. Jefferson's Manual provides that unfinished business do not carry over into a new Congress. If we cannot conclude the trial before June 30, 2025, we must recognize this impeachment case is functionally dismissed by constitutional operation and no action can be taken by the 20th Congress on the matter for lack of constitutional authority. Mr. President, kahit anong pilit, hindi maitatawid, lalo na't kung lalabag sa saligang batas. Let this manifestation be entered into the official records and journal of this chamber. I will likewise submit a version of this manifestation complete with footnotes for proper documentation. I speak in defense of constitutional order, procedural fairness, and the institutional dignity of the Senate. Maraming salamat po, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move to consider on third reading Senate Bill number 890. This is the bill on the Government Optimization Act. Printed copies of the bill were electronically distributed to the members of this chamber on March 18, 2025 in compliance with the 3-day rule of the Constitution. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Senate Secretary is directed to read the title only of the measure and to proceed to roll call vote.
An act right-sizing the national government to improve public service delivery and for other purposes. Roll call vote. The Honorable Senator Binay, Senator Cayetano Alan, Senator Cayetano Pia, Senator De La Rosa, Senator Ejercito, Senator Estrada, Senator Gatchalian, Senator Go, Senator Ontiveros, Senator Lapid, Senator Legarda, Senator Marcos, Senator Padilla, Senator Pimentel, Senator Poe, Senator Revilla, Senator Tolentino, Senator Tulfo, Senator Villanueva, Senator Villar Cynthia, Senator Villar Mark, Senator Zubiri, the Senate President.
With 22 affirmative votes, 0 negative, 0 abstention, Senate Bill number 890 is approved on third reading. Majority Leader?
Mr. President, I move to consider on third reading Senate Bill number 2805. This is the bill strengthening the Movie and Television Review and Classification Board. Printed copies were electronically distributed to the members of this chamber on March 4, 2025 in compliance with the 3-day rule of the Constitution. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, Senate Secretary is directed to read the title only of the bill and to proceed to roll call vote.
An act strengthening the Movie and Television Review and Classification Board, MTRCB, and appropriating funds therefore. Roll call vote. The Honorable Senator Binay, Senator Cayetano Alan, Senator Cayetano Pia, Senator De La Rosa, Senator Ejercito, Senator Estrada, Senator Gatchalian, Senator Go, Senator Ontiveros, Senator Lapid, Senator Legarda, Senator Marcos, Senator Padilla, Senator Pimentel, Senator Poe, Senator Revilla, Senator Tolentino, Senator Tulfo, Senator Villanueva, Senator Villar Cynthia, Senator Villar Mark, Senator Zubiri, the Senate President.
One negative. 21-1. With 21 affirmative votes, one negative vote, zero abstentions, Senate Bill number 2805 is approved on third reading. Majority Leader,
Mr. President, I move to consider on third reading Senate Bill number 2965. This is the bill on free funeral services. Printed copies were electronically distributed to the members on March 17, 2025, in compliance with the 3-day rule of the Constitution. I so move, Mr. President.
any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Senate Secretary is directed to read the title only of the measure and to proceed to roll call vote.
An act granting free funeral services to poor families, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. Roll call vote. The Honorable Senator Binay, Senator Cayetano Alan, Senator Cayetano Pia, Senator De La Rosa, Senator Ejercito, Senator Estrada, Senator Gatchalian, Senator Go, Senator Ontiveros, Senator Lapid, Senator Legarda, Senator Marcos, Senator Padilla, Senator Pimentel, Senator Poe, Senator Revilla, Senator Tolentino, Senator Tulfo, Senator Villanueva, Senator Villar Cynthia, Senator Villar Mark, Senator Zubiri, the Senate President.
With 22 affirmative votes, zero negative, zero abstention, Senate Bill number 2965 is approved on third reading. Majority Leader,
Mr. President, I move to consider on third reading Senate Bill number 2960. This is the bill on the lifelong learning development framework. Printed copies of the bill were electronically distributed to the members on March 13, 2025, in compliance with the 3-day rule of the Constitution. I so move, Mr. President.
any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Senate Secretary is directed to read the title only of the measure and to proceed to roll call vote.
An act institutionalizing the lifelong learning development framework, broadening the mandate of the Philippine Qualifications Framework National Coordinating Council, amending for the purpose RA 10968, otherwise known as the Philippine Qualifications Framework Act, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. Roll call vote. The Honorable Senator Binay, Senator Cayetano Alan, Senator Cayetano Pia, Senator De La Rosa, Senator Ejercito, Senator Estrada, Senator Gatchalian, Senator Go, Senator Ontiveros, Senator Lapid, Senator Legarda, Senator Marcos, Senator Padilla, Senator Pimentel, Senator Poe, Senator Revilla, Senator Tolentino, Senator Tulfo, Senator Villanueva, Senator Villar Cynthia, Senator Villar Mark, Senator Zubiri, the Senate President.
With 22 affirmative votes, zero negative, zero abstentions, Senate Bill number 2960 is approved on third reading. Majority Leader,
Mr. President, I move to consider on third reading Senate Bill number 2974. This is the bill on the expanded Philippine Science High School system. Printed copies of the bill were electronically distributed to the members on February 19, 2025, in compliance with the 3-day rule of the Constitution. I so move, Mr. President.
any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Senate Secretary is directed to read the title only of the measure and to proceed to roll call vote.
An act expanding the Philippine Science High School system, strengthening governance and management and appropriating funds therefore. Roll call vote. The Honorable Senator Binay, Senator Cayetano Alan, Senator Cayetano Pia, Senator De La Rosa, Senator Ejercito, Senator Estrada, Senator Gatchalian, Senator Go, Senator Ontiveros, Senator Lapid, Senator Legarda, Senator Marcos, Senator Padilla, Senator Pimentel, Senator Poe, Senator Revilla, Senator Tolentino, Senator Tulfo, Senator Villanueva, Senator Villar Cynthia, Senator Villar Mark, Senator Zubiri, the Senate President.
With 22 affirmative votes, zero negative, zero abstentions, Senate Bill number 2974 is approved on third reading. What is the pleasure of the Honorable Zubiri?
Mr. President, I believe that you want to have all the third reading measures read first and voted on, after which can I give a short manifestation on the PSI bill?
Yes.
you.
After we finish all, we only have one more left. Majority Floor Leader,
Mr. President, I move to consider on third reading Senate Bill number 2975, the bill on the revised animal welfare. Printed copies of the bill were electronically distributed to the members on May 21, 2025, in compliance with the 3-day rule of the Constitution. I so move, Mr. President.
any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Senate Secretary is directed to comply and read the title only of the measure and to proceed to roll call vote.
An act strengthening animal welfare standards, enacting a revised Animal Welfare Act, thereby repealing Republic Act number 8485 as amended by RA 10631, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. Roll call vote. The Honorable Senator Binay, Senator Cayetano Alan, Senator Cayetano Pia, Senator De La Rosa, Senator Ejercito, Senator Estrada, Senator Gatchalian, Senator Go, Senator Ontiveros, Senator Lapid, Senator Legarda, Senator Marcos, Senator Padilla, Senator Pimentel, Senator Poe, Senator Revilla, Senator Tolentino, Senator Tulfo, Senator Villanueva, Senator Villar Cynthia, Senator Villar Mark, Senator Zubiri, the Senate President.
With 22 affirmative votes, 0 negative, 0 abstentions, Senate Bill number 2975 is approved on third reading. Majority Floor Leader,
Mr. President, I seek a 1-minute suspension.
session is suspended. Session is resumed.
Mr.
Majority Floor
President,
Leader,
Yes, Mr. President, Senator Juan Miguel Zubiri is seeking the floor for a short manifestation.
what is the pleasure of the Honorable Zubiri?
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'd just like to thank the entire chamber for its support for the expanded Philippine Science High School Act, which we hope to cater to more students deserving of the Pisay brand of education. I would like to recognize the Philippine Science High School community, headed by Executive Director Ronalie Ortalesa, for their invaluable effort in helping us craft and defend this mission every step of the way. She's here with us today, together with her staff. I think she's over there in the back. With the third reading approval of this bill, I'm very hopeful that we will soon be able to take Philippine Science High School system closer to more STEM students across the country. We can empower students to grow into bold innovators and thinkers who will shape a better future for our country. And it all starts in our schools. Kaya maraming salamat po sa aking mga kasamahan dito sa Senado sa suporta na binigay nyo sa ating panukala. Mabuhay po ang kabataang Pilipino at mabuhay po ang Pisay. Maraming salamat, Mr. Senate President. Thank you.
Noted and entered into the records. Majority Floor Leader,
Yes, Mr. President, next is to make a manifestation is Senator Robin Hood Padilla. Seeking the floor.
Senator Padilla is recognized to, as I understand, make his explanation of vote and or manifestation in connection with the bill's passed. You may proceed, sir.
Maraming salamat po, Ginoong Pangulo. Bilang tagapangulo po ng Komite ng Pampublikong Impormasyon at Mass Media, 10 na mga miyembro ng aming komite, ako po ay taus-pusong nagpapasalamat sa lahat ng nagbigay ng suporta upang marating natin ang pagpasa sa ikatlong pagbasa ng Senate Bill number 2805, an act strengthening the Movie and Television Review and Classification Board and appropriating funds thereof. Una na po ang aking pasasalamat sa mga may akda ng panukalang naglalayong amendahan ang umiiral na patnubay ng ahensya na nangangasiwa sa klasifikasyon at pagsusuri ng mga programa sa telebisyon at pelikula. Kasama na po riyan ang ating kapatid na si Senator Win Gatchalian, Senator Francis Tolentino, Senator Lito Lapid, at siyempre po ang mismong naging pinuno ng MTRCB, Senadora Grace Poe. Kasama rin po natin bilang kapwa may akda sina Senator Joel Villanueva at Senator Ramon Bong Revilla. Kay Senadora po, Senadora Villanueva, Senadora Loren Legarda, Senadora Risa Ontiveros na naging katuwang natin sa pagsasaayos ng panukala sa tulong ng kanilang mahalagang amyenda. Maraming salamat po. Ang ating Senate Secretariat, kabilang na po ang Office of the Deputy Secretary for Legislation, Bills and Index, at sa aming Committee Secretary, at sa lahat ng nasa likod ng papapatibay ng panukalang ito. Labis-labis po ang aking pasasalamat sa inyong naging tulong. Nais ko rin pong pasalamatan ang buong pamilya ng MTRCB sa pamumuno ni Chairperson Diorela Lala Soto Antonio na naging katuwang natin sa pagsusulong ng mga mahalagang probisyon upang may angkop ang kapangyarihan ng MTRCB sang-ayon sa mga kontemporaryong hamon sa hinaharap ng industriya sa kasalukuyan. At bilang panghuli, sa buong lupon at liderato po ng Senado, Pinunong Mayorya Tol Tolentino, Pinunong Minorya Coco Pimentel, Senate President Pro Tempore Jingo Estrada, at lalong higit sa Pangulo ng Senado, Senator Chis Escudero. Sa inyo pong suporta at patnubay, maraming salamat po. Ang tagumpay ng panukalang ito sa mataas na kapulungan ay hindi tagumpay ni numan, kundi na libo-libong manonood, lalo't higit ang kabataan na kailangan nating mabigyan ng proteksyon habang sinisiguro ang malikhaing pagpapahayag sa mundo ng telebisyon at pelikula. Maraming salamat po, Ginoong Pangulo. Mulit-muli po ang aking karangalan.
Congratulations, and your statements are duly noted and entered into the records. Majority Floor Leader.
Yes, Mr. President, next to give her explanation of votes is our Deputy Minority Leader, Senator Risa Ontiveros. I move that she be recognized.
Senator Ontiveros, our distinguished Deputy Minority Floor Leader, is recognized for her manifestation and her explanation of vote. You may proceed, ma'am.
Salamat, Abi, Mr. President. Mr. President, I voted no to the bill expanding the authority of MTRCB since it grants the MTRCB overly broad powers to censor even speech protected by the 1987 Constitution and even material not meant for theatrical distribution. We can be specific about the materials we should protect people from. Media that, by their mere showing, constitute violations of law, including RA 7610, or the Special Protection of Children Against Abuse, Exploitation, and Discrimination Act, RA 11930, or the Anti-Online Sexual Abuse or Exploitation of Children and Anti-Child Sexual Abuse or Exploitation Materials Act, and RA 9995, or the Anti-Photo and Video Voyeurism Act of 2009. Yan ang mga dapat kalaban ng MTRCB. Hindi po ang general na contrary to good morals, injurious to the prestige of the Philippines, o undermine the faith and confidence of the people in their government. More than this, Mr. President, the regulation of digital services and online content should be carefully done with legislation crafted specifically for this purpose at hindi lamang add-on sa MTRCB. Ang boses at mga sining ng mga Pilipino, offline man o online, ay kapangyarihang pag-aari ng taong bayan at protektado ng saligang batas. Ang anumang regulasyon nito ay dapat hindi labis. Salamat po. And Mr. President, while I have the floor, if I may be allowed, I wish to respond briefly to the manifestation made by the Majority Floor Leader. If I may.
You may proceed.
Salamat, Abi, Mr. President. Mr. President, the 1987 Constitution demands that the Senate continue with the impeachment proceedings already initiated without further delay. The rulings of the Supreme Court make it clear that first, impeachment is a non-legislative function of the Senate. This is Chavez versus Judicial and Bar Council, GR number 202242, 16th April 2013. And second, that non-legislative functions of the Senate are not affected by the shift from 19th to 20th Congress. This is the case of Pimentel Jr. versus Joint Committee of Congress, GR number 163783, 22 June 2004. It is true that the 19th Congress cannot bind the 20th Congress and all unfinished business will be terminated. But this is only true for any work done by us in the exercise of our legislative functions. Napakahalagang mandato po ng saligang batas ito, klaro at walang kalabuan. Once we receive the articles of impeachment, trial by the Senate shall forthwith proceed. Hahatulan tayo ng sambayanan kung hindi natin ginampanan ang tungkulin na ito sa sambayanan. Salamat, Abi, Mr. President.
Noted and entered into the records. Majority Floor Leader.
Yes, Mr. President, next to explain her votes on the following measures. Senate Bill number 2805, strengthening the Movie and Television Review and Classification Board. Senate Bill number 2965, free funeral services. And last but not the least, the Senate Bill number 2975, or the revised animal welfare, is Senator Grace Poe, the principal sponsors of the said measures. I move that she be recognized.
The lady is recognized. You may proceed, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I would like to thank the sponsor, Senator Robin Padilla, for prioritizing this measure on the MTRCB Act. Hindi po madali na idepensa ito dahil pagdating talaga sa freedom of expression at mga tanong kung ito ba'y prior restraint or censorship, mahirap talagang debate dyan. Kaya congratulations kay Senator Robin dito sa ating panukala na naipasa na ako po ang isa sa mga main authors nito. Alam natin na mabilis magbago ang panahon. Hindi dapat mapag-iwanan ang polisiya ng MTRCB. Nasa panahon pa ng Betamax, di ba? So we need a board that can act and respond not just with authority but with clear guidelines and tools to keep up in this digital age. We've always been an advocate for self-regulation. Dapat bago dalhin pa sa MTRCB, ang mismong mga producers na ang nagbibigay ng kanilang mga suggested classification. Kaya nga sa telebisyon, makikita ninyo, bago pa lang ipalabas, nung panahon natin, nandyan na yung SPG, o kaya kung ano pang mga ibang rating na kailangan ay mapaalala sa mga magulang. Isa pa po, sa panahon ngayon, hindi naman kaya ng MTRCB na lahat ng streaming devices ay ma-review. Kaya importante ang panukala na ito. Para rin ito sa mga storytellers. Through this, we will give our filmmakers and content creators the confidence to tell braver, bolder, and more meaningful stories sapagkat alam nila may malinaw at patas na proseso para maabot ng kanilang gawa ang tamang audience. Walang mabibitin na eksena at higit sa lahat, walang manonood na mapapabayaan. I am hence proudly co-sponsoring this measure for a smarter viewing experience, for safer homes, and for a broader telling of our culture stories. Congratulations, Senator Robin. My next manifestation as the main author is for the Free Funeral Services Act. Mr. President, I would like to thank the esteemed sponsor for ably defending this measure. The approval of the Free Funeral Services Act. Thank you, Senator Marcos, for doing so. Simula nung na-file ko ito noong 2016, inabot ng 3 kongreso bago ito napasa. Maraming salamat. Bagamat mabigat ang paksa, tinuturing kong isa sa mga importanteng batas na ating isinulong at na-approve ito sa wakas. Sa hirap ng buhay ngayon, pati ang namatay, mahal na rin. Mamatay ay mahal na rin. Ngayon, isa sa batas natin ang ayuda para sa pagpapalibing. Kasalukuyang nagbibigay ang DSWD ng 1,000 hanggang 50,000 para sa funeral services at 10,000 para sa mga biktima ng kalamidad. Karapatan ng bawat Pilipino, anuman ang estado sa buhay, ang isang disenteng burol. Ang burol ay hindi lamang para sa yumao, kundi para rin sa mga naulila. Ang batas na ito ay para sa mga kababayan nating tahimik na nagluluksa. May gobyernong kasama ninyo sa pagdadalamhati. Let us give the dead our last respects and the living the final act of love in saying goodbye. To my colleagues, thank you for recognizing that dignity should not end where life does. Maraming salamat po. And last but not the least, Mr. President, this is a happy bill. Thank you for allowing this, Mr. President, esteemed colleagues. With an overwhelming sense of accomplishment and gratitude, I rise today not just a legislator, but as someone who shares her home and her heart with many alagas and fur babies. Sa ngalan nila, nais kong pasalamatan ang mga kasamahan ko rito sa Senado at sa ngalan ng milyong-milyong hayop na binigyan ninyo ng boses sa pamamagitan ng panukalang ito. I've always believed that the way we treat the voiceless says everything about the kind of society we are building. At ngayong araw, masasabi ko po, sa boto ninyong lahat, binigyan natin sila ng tinig. Marami pong insidente ng kalupitan sa ating mga alaga ang lumalabas sa balita nitong mga nakaraang buwan. Nitong nakaraan lang ay may asong nakita sa viral video na ikinulong sa compartment ng kotse kung saan init na init. At makakalimutan ba natin noong Marso lang ay isang foreigner ang sumipa sa isang kuting na siyang naging dahilan ng pagpanaw nito. Sa mga ganitong pagkakataon, sino po ang titindig para sa kanila? That's why the passage of the Revised Animal Welfare Act is necessary. The bill is not merely a token legislation. We cannot continue treating animal protection as an afterthought. It is a response to cruelty, yes, but more importantly, it is a declaration of dignity. Kapag tinatanong ako ng mga anak ko kung bakit sobrang concerned ko dahil sa aming mga alaga, hindi sa lahat ng hayop, simple lang ang sagot ko. Kasi walang nasasayang na kabutihan. Ang malasakit ay hindi lang para sa hayop. Umaabot yan sa tao sa bawat komunidad at sa bawat bansa. Gusto ko rin magpasalamat sa chairperson, Cynthia Villar ng Committee on Agriculture, for letting me shepherd this bill. She knows that this cause is personal and that I have been championing this advocacy since I was first set foot in the Senate 12 years ago. I would also like to thank our minority leader for allowing this bill to pass. I know that he's seen that many of us here have a deep concern for animals and their welfare. Hindi lamang ito sa pag-aalaga sa kanila, kundi pagbibigay rin ng tulong sa mga tao, halimbawa kung nakagat o may mga rabies outbreak na problema. Gusto ko sanang hilingin rin na alam ko sa House of Representatives, marami sa kanila doon ang may mga alaga rin. Hindi lang aso, hindi lang pusa. At marami sa kanila ang talagang may malasakit para sa animal welfare. Sana naman sa mga nalalabing araw nitong kongreso na ito ay maipasa na rin nila ang kanilang version. Kasi dito sa Senado, ginawa natin ang ating duty na ipasa ito para maproteksyonan ang ating mga alaga. Sa mga kapwa ko mangbabatas, thank you for recognizing that a humane society is not just measured by how we treat each other, but also by how we treat the vulnerable. The Revised Animal Welfare Act is your legacy too. Maraming salamat po.
Noted and entered into the records. Thank you, Senator Poe. Majority Floor Leader.
Yes, Mr. President, next to give a manifestation and for his explanation of vote on Senate Bill number 2965 is Senator Mark Villar. I move that he be recognized.
Senator Villar is recognized. You may proceed, sir.
Mr. President, my fellow senators and guests of the Senate, a pleasant afternoon to all of you. I stand here to express my gratitude for the approval of the Free Funeral Services Act. I join my colleagues in their effort to make funeral services more accessible to our fellow Filipinos who struggle to make ends meet. It is my belief that access to funeral services should not be out of the reach for everyone. Mr. President, even the cheapest funeral package in the country ranges from 8,000 to 15,000 pesos. Malaking halaga na po ito para sa ating mga kababayan na nasa laylayan. Ito po ay dagdag isipin para sa mga kababayan nating kapos at namatayan. Kasabay ng pagkawalan ng kanilang mahal sa buhay, kailangan pa po nilang isipin ang gastos para sa lamay at libing. Dito po sa Senado, marami na po tayong natatanggap na requests para sa funeral and burial assistance. This reality is a sign that it needs to be addressed institutionally. I believe that it's long overdue that vital services like funeral services should become accessible, especially to the poor and indigent. Mr. President, I would like to thank our dear colleague, Senator Amy Marcos, for her sponsorship of this bill, alongside the co-sponsors and co-authors who made the approval of this bill possible. It is the right of our fellow Filipinos to have access to dignified treatment, even at their last moments on this earth. And it is an honor to be a part of the Senate who made free funeral services possible for the indigent and the poor. Maraming salamat po.
Noted and entered into the records. Majority Floor Leader.
Yes, Mr. President, last to make a manifestation and explain this vote is Senator Joel Villanueva. I move that he be recognized.
Senator Villanueva is recognized. You may proceed, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you, Majority Leader. Mr. President, may I just be allowed to just insert into the records my explanation of vote on the third reading, Senate Bill number 2805, 2975, and SBN 890, Mr. President. And may I be allowed to just explain my vote for Senate Bill number 2960, which is the Lifelong Learning Development Framework Act, authored and sponsored by this representation. Mr. President, dear colleagues, last February 4, we approved on second reading Senate Bill number 2960, or the Lifelong Learning Development Framework Act. Since then, Mr. President, our office has strived to live out the spirit of this measure. In just 3 months, we have conducted 21 lifelong learning sessions on topics such as health and fitness, social media branding, legislative budgeting, protocol, and even Philippine history. Hindi lang po in-house ang naging resource persons natin, Ginoong Pangulo. Nakipagtulungan po tayo sa iba't ibang opisina at ahensya ng ating pamahalaan. We thank our partners from the Senate LBRMO and the National Museum for joining us in championing continuous learning in the workplace. And if I may, Mr. President, I'd like to share a very short video, just a 1-minute video presentation of this session. Our partners from the Senate LBRMO and the National Museum for joining us in championing continuous learning in the workplace. And if I may, Mr. President, I'd like to share a very short video, just a 1-minute video presentation of this session. From the Senate LBRMO and the National Museum for joining us in championing continuous learning in the workplace. And if I may, Mr. President, I'd like to share a very short video, just a 1-minute video presentation of this session. From the Senate LBRMO and the National Museum for joining us in championing continuous learning in the workplace. If I may, Mr. President, I'd like to share a very short video on the workforce. Unfortunately, Mr. President, kailangan din ng lifelong learning ng ating technical, Mr. President. May I just continue, Mr. President, our explanation of vote. Mr. President, this bill is more than just a policy. And that's what I wanted to emphasize in this August chamber. It is a mindset. It is a mindset. A recognition that education does not and should not end after normal schooling or formal schooling. In today's fast-changing world, shaped by rapid technological advancement, particularly in artificial intelligence, we must transcend the traditional boundaries of the classroom. Learning must be lifelong and life-wide, from womb to tomb. Education should be continuous, flexible, and inclusive, whether through formal institutions, community centers, or work-based settings. Strengthens frameworks like the Philippine Qualifications Framework, the ETEAP, and the Enterprise-Based Education and Training. It will enable the creation of learning cities, learning municipalities, and learning barangays across the country, taking inspiration from models like Balanga City in Bataan. I saw Congressman Abet Garcia, who is present here today, which has been internationally recognized for building learning hubs in all of its barangays and dedicating over 2,000 hectares of its university town. It also opens up more dynamic pathways for upskilling and reskilling, benefiting not just students, Mr. President, but also early school leavers, workers, entrepreneurs, and even our senior citizens who still want to learn anew skills like digital literacy. This measure is supported by Education Commission 2, headed by Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, and it is our response to the question, how do we prepare Filipinos for a future that is uncertain, fast-moving, and full of disruption? We do it by equipping them with the mindset and means to never stop learning, especially amidst recent findings that around 18 million Filipinos finished high school despite being functionally illiterate. Muli po, Ginoong Pangulo, maraming salamat sa ating mga kasamahan sa buong pusong pagsuporta nila sa panukalang ito, and we look forward to its swift enactment into law. Together, Mr. President, let us make lifelong learning a reality for all Filipinos. Maraming salamat po at pagpalain tayong lahat ng ating Panginoong Diyos.
Thank you, Senator Villanueva. Duly noted and entered into the records. Majority Floor Leader.
Yes, Mr. President, last to explain this vote is our Senate President Pro Tempore, Senator Jingo Estrada. I move that he be recognized.
Our Senate President Pro Temp, Senator Jingo Estrada, is recognized. You may
Thank you,
proceed,
Mr.
sir.
President. Mr. President, this representation would like to insert into the records the explanation of votes on Senate Bill number 2974, the Science High School, Senate Bill number 2965 regarding the free funeral service, 2960 regarding the lifelong learning, and the SB number, Senate Bill number 2975 regard to the annual welfare. And I would like to explain my vote regarding Senate Bill number 2805, an act strengthening the Movie and Television Review and Classification Board. Mr. President, as a member of the Philippine entertainment industry, I welcome the passage of this measure, which strengthens and updates the 40-year charter of the Movie and Television Review and Classification Board, or the MTRCB, considering the massive changes and developments in mass media. Before, it is through cinemas and television that we consume content and find entertainment. Now we watch movies, series, and other content at the palm of our hands using our mobile phones with online streaming apps. It is only proper that the government embraces this digital transformation and proceeds with its function of looking after the welfare of minors and children who may be exposed to age-inappropriate content available in these new platforms. I congratulate our distinguished colleague and fellow member of the movie industry, Senator Robin Hood Padilla, for spearheading and shepherding this passage of this measure in the Senate. Moreover, as Vice Chairman of the Senate Finance Committee, who handled and sponsored the annual budgets of the MTRCB in the past years, I learned about the struggles of the body in readily accessing the revenue collection to fund their maintenance and operating expenses and other programs. Under this bill, there will be a retained income fund comprised of 30% of all fees and charges imposed, which shall be maintained and administered at all times by the board without need for remittance to the National Treasury. Thank you, Mr. President.
Noted and entered into the records. Thank you. Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. President, our minority leader is seeking the floor for a manifestation.
The Minority Leader is recognized. You may proceed, sir.
So thank you, Mr. President, for giving me your permission to make this manifestation on the topic touched earlier by our majority leader, Mr. President. This is the issue of whether the impeachment complaint transmitted by the House of Representatives to this Senate last February 5, 2025 can cross over to the Senate of the 20th Congress. Well, Mr. President and my dear colleagues, doubts have been publicly expressed by certain personalities whether the trial of the impeachment complaint against the Vice President can continue or cross over into the 20th Congress. I wish to share and put on the record some of my thoughts on this particular issue. Article 11, Section 3, Paragraph 6 of the Philippine Constitution provides that, and I quote, "The Senate shall have the sole power to try and decide all cases of impeachment." Hence, this provision makes the Senate not just an impeachment court, but the impeachment court. An impeachment proceeding is sui generis, that is, unique or a class of its own. In Republic versus Sereno, it is described as a proceeding exercised by the legislative as representatives of the sovereign to vindicate the breach of the trust reposed by the people in the hands of the public officer by determining the public officer's fitness to stay in office. While the form, procedure, and substantive arguments in impeachments remind us of a court trial, it also has the characteristics of a political process. The decision-making process in impeachment is not governed by any fixed or binding standard of proof, allowing for broad discretion on the part of the members of the impeachment court when they make their final decision on the case. The decision makers or the members of the impeachment court can use any standard of proof they want, and this choice will not be subject to any review by any court except the court of public opinion, which is not technically a court. This fact gives the impeachment proceedings its political character. Hence, to better understand these sui generis impeachment proceedings, we need to look for analogies using well-known principles and practices in other systems which are applicable to impeachment proceedings. As to the question of whether the impeachment trial conducted by the Senate in the 19th Congress or the impeachment complaint entertained by the Senate in the 19th Congress can cross over and continue into the 20th Congress, there is no provision in the 1987 Constitution or in the Senate Rules of Procedure on impeachment trials that expressly prohibits this. On the contrary, the Senate Rules on Impeachment support the position that the impeachment trial shall continue until final judgment, even if it is necessary to continue into the next Congress. Let me read the rules. Rule number 3. Upon presentation of the articles to the Senate shall specify the date and time for the consideration of such articles. Unless the Senate provides otherwise, it shall continue in session from day to day, except Saturdays, Sundays, and non-working holidays, until final judgment shall be rendered, and so much longer as may in its judgment be necessary. There is a contrary opinion that the rules of the Senate which mandate that all pending matters and proceedings shall terminate upon the expiration of one Congress should take precedence over the cited rules on impeachment, which state that the trial shall continue until final judgment. The justification for the precedence given to the rules of the Senate is that the latter were passed by virtue of the power granted by the Constitution to the Senate to promulgate its rules. That is found in Article 6, Section 16, Paragraph 3, which provides each house may determine the rules of its proceedings. However, the Senate rules on impeachment were also passed by virtue of the power granted by the same Constitution to the Senate to promulgate its rules on impeachment. So let us all look at Article 11, Section 3, Paragraph 8, which provides the Congress shall promulgate its rules on impeachment to effectively carry out the purpose of this section. In fact, there should be no conflict between the two rules because the rules of the Senate apply to legislative proceedings of the Senate, while the rules on impeachment apply to cases of impeachment. On this issue, the Supreme Court in the case of Pimentel Jr. versus Joint Committee of Congress ruled that the legislative functions of the 12th Congress may have come to a close upon the final adjournment of its regular sessions on June 11, 2004. But this does not affect its non-legislative functions. Conducting impeachment trials is most definitely not a legislative function. In fact, the section in the Constitution which speaks of impeachment is found in Article 11 under the title Accountability of Public Officers, and not under Article 6, which is titled the Legislative Department. The conduct of impeachment trials, therefore, should not be affected by the final adjournment of the legislative session. Furthermore, we can use the analogy of the court system. Under the 1987 Constitution, the Senate is the impeachment court. The Senate in impeachment cases is more like a judicial body than a legislative one. Just like a court, the workload, caseload, or docket of the Senate as the impeachment court will not and should not be affected by a change in membership. We can see this principle in action in all our courts and electoral tribunals, where their case dockets do not change and are not reduced or reset to zero whenever there are changes in the court's membership. Likewise, it is well settled that jurisdiction once acquired is not lost but continues until the case is terminated, and hopefully terminated to its logical end. Hence, it is my humble opinion that the trial of the current impeachment case, now pending before the Senate of the 19th Congress, can cross over or continue from the 19th Congress to the 20th Congress. The impeachment docket of the Senate Impeachment Court continues and remains to be the same. So thank you very much, Mr. President, my dear colleagues, for your time and attention.
Thank you, Senator Coco Pimentel, our distinguished minority floor leader.
Although that was only a manifestation, I am willing to entertain questions. Should there be any questions, Mr. President?
Just two quick questions with the permission of this body.
With the permission of the Honorable Pimentel, the gentleman may proceed.
Mr. President, kanina po narinig ko yung historical antecedents ng binanggit, Your Honor, Senator Pimentel. Would the good gentleman agree that the reason why the position of constitutionalists, textualists for that matter, on this issue is that the Constitution is silent as to the word carry over, crossover, continue. Meron po ba nakalagay sa Constitution, sa Saligang Batas ng Pilipinas, 1935, 1973, 1987 na carry over?
Mr. President, I will respond directly to the question. Wala pong nakasulat doon that it shall carry over, pero binanggit ko sa aking manifestation wala talaga ring nakasulat doon that it cannot cross over. So in effect, let us say textually, both positions are not even mentioned or entertained in the Constitution.
Mr. President, sang-ayon po kaya ang ating ginagalang na minority leader na kaya dahil walang carry-over notion ay dahil malaki po ang pagkakaiba. There's a big difference between the 1987 Constitution and the 1935 Constitution, which was patterned after the United States Constitution. And I would like to have this placed on the records, Mr. President. Sa US Constitution, 100 po ang senador at nag-i-eleksyon po every 2 years ng 33 senators. Ang naiiwan pong senador sa Estados Unidos pag nag-i-eleksyon ay 67. Because 67 plus 33 is 100. 67 is sufficient to comply with the provision of the US Constitution to convict in an impeachment case. Dahil 2/3 po yon ay 66. May sobra pang isa. Sa atin pong saligang batas noong 1935, kung inyo pong susuriin, ang atin pong senador na bumubuo rin ng impeachment court ay 24. Subalit, Mr. President, in the 1935 Constitution, ang eleksyon po natin ay 8, 8, 8. Tuwing mag-i-eleksyon ng senador, ang i-elect na senador kasama sa mga kongresista ay 8 senador lamang. Ang may iwan po ay 16. And 16 is 2/3. Enough to have a quorum as well as to convict or to acquit. In our present constitutional scheme, 1987 Constitution, we also have 24 senators, but we conduct elections every 3 years for 12 senators. Meaning to say, Mr. President, yung may iiwang kalahati na 12 is not sufficient to constitute a quorum, dahil 12, dapat 13, much more convict. Because to convict, you need 16 senators, Mr. President. Is it now the proposition of the good minority leader that the constitutional spirit as enshrined in the 1935 Constitution, the same as the spirit prevailing, although it is not as admitted by the good minority leader, textually enshrined, the same as the 1935? Ibig sabihin po ba yung 12 ay may quorum? Yung 12 ay may pwedeng maging 2/3 to allow your notion that we can carry over at yung mga yung sikat nga yung salita maitawid. Tama po ba yun, Mr. President?
Ako, Mr. President, yung 2/3 kasi is actually that was probably just the decision of the framers of the Constitution. They could have made it 1+1. They could have made it 3/4. So it's maybe by accident that 2/3 is equal to 8 + 8 is 16 is 2/3, so 24. But I do not think that was really the point, Mr. President. But at any rate, we have to live with the 1987 Constitution. So we look at the 1987 Constitution. And looking at the 1987 Constitution, the Senate is the impeachment court, not because it is the Senate created under Article 6, because it was recognized to be the court under Article 11. The framers could have chosen another body to be the court. That is theoretically possible. But it chose the Senate, not as a legislative body, but as a part of Congress, but not as a legislative body. So, yun po yung aking pagkaintindi. We have to live with the 1987 Constitution. We copied generally the idea siguro sa United States, but let's not be so beholden to their practices and rulings kasi iba na rin po, iba talaga ang sitwasyon natin. And I think textually speaking, my position is supported that although we keep on saying Senate, 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 but this is not Senate as the other half of Congress, but this is the Senate chosen under Article 11 to be the impeachment court. So iba po ito. And then may paragraph 8 doon, sinabi, Congress shall also issue the rules to give life to the accountability of public officers. So, and we have done that. So, kaya ang aking stand actually is the Senate as an institution is the impeachment court. So the member judges can change, but just like as a division of the Supreme Court, division of the Sandigan Bayan and the CA, if they change their members, yung docket nila or caseload nila, tuloy pa rin. They have to decide the cases and bring the cases to their logical conclusion. So that is my simplified position, Mr. President.
So one last question, Mr. President, if the good gentleman would accede. Ang ibig sabihin po nito, Mr. President, is that the Senate now, under the 19th Congress, is empowered, is authorized to confer a jurisdiction to another Senate, which would be forthcoming, the Senate of the 20th Congress. So allowed po ba tayo under the Constitution to transfer pending business, or should it follow likewise, using your logic, the traditional norm of having it refiled and reset starting from zero, similar to the bills?
Yes, yun na nga.
So ang ibig ko sabihin, Mr. President, what would prevent the 19th Congress from passing on the impeachment case, not just to the 20th Congress, but to the 21st Congress? And I implore the good minority leader that all the provisions mentioned a while ago, which are correct, should likewise be read together with the constitutional provision that there should be only one impeachment case filed per year against the same respondent, Mr. President.
Alam nyo ba, Mr. President, na yung rule na yung legislative workload natin ay magre-reset kada pag may bagong kongreso? Alam nyo ba na wala sa Constitution yun? Nasa rules natin yun. Oh, ang rules natin, promulgated natin because of the power given to us by the Constitution. But the Constitution does not specify that. Actually, we could have written na yung pumasa na ng third reading, itrato natin na third reading na rin. We could do that, but we did not do it. So policy lang po yun na reset natin as far as legislative workload is concerned. Pagdating naman sa impeachment judicial workload of the Senate as an impeachment court, I propose, or I give the interpretation that the caseload remains. Ang nagbago lang are the member judges, just like I think we can easily envision sa Supreme Court, nagbabago, divisions ng CA, divisions ng Sandigan Bayan, but the caseload remains. So I think we can mentally separate the two kasi Article 6 yung legislative workload, Article 11 yung impeachment workload. So that would be my response, Mr. President.
But Mr. President, would not that prevent the other part of the two-step process? Two-step process because filed by the lower house, prosecutors, received by the Senate, the trial jurors, the trial judges. Would not that prevent the other part of the two-leg process from initiating another complaint, because there is now a case pending which you say should be continuing?
if the majority leader will allow me not to respond, but
Yes, because
his question is very loaded and provides the hint of what can happen in the future.
Mr. President, I've taken too much time of this body. I would relish interpolating the good minority leader even for 5 hours on this topic alone. But again, Mr. President, siguro mahaba na po ito. I stick again to my previous manifestation that if we will not be able to conclude whether acquittal or conviction, the present impeachment case against Vice President Sara Duterte before the lapse of the 19th Congress, the same is functionally dismissed or deemed de facto dismissed, Mr. President. Yun lamang po, Mr. President, at ako po ay nagpapasalamat sa ating minority leader.
Thank you, Senator Tolentino. Briefly, Senator Pimentel.
Mr. President, while I still have the floor, can I request for some information from the Senate President, especially regarding the impeachment calendar that
The
is
gentleman may proceed.
because you issued the first impeachment calendar was issued by the Senate President when we were already on break. I mean, Mr. President, tama po yun, di ba?
That is correct.
So, Mr. President, may we know when His Honor issued the first legislative calendar, impeachment calendar, which fixed June 2 as the time for receiving the House prosecutors, may we know the basis of the authority of the Senate President when he issued the first impeachment calendar, Mr. President?
Article 1 of the impeachment rules, which says that the Senate President can set the date for the presentation of the articles of impeachment. Mention was made specifically of the Senate President. And also we were on recess. So the Senate President at that time, Your Honor, issued a suggested calendar of activities. I was very clear when I stated that. Subject to plenary approval when we resume, because you were already on recess at that time. The second notice sent by this representation was made also while we were on recess. And I also stated that it was subject to plenary approval and or reversal, as the case may be, given the load that we need to take up after the LEDAC meeting.
So, yes, Mr. President, I noticed that no one from the majority was complaining about the original or initial impeachment calendar issued by the Senate President. So we were all looking forward to the date where there should be some action on the impeachment, which is
Yes.
June 2.
Supposedly, yes.
Yes, supposed to be. Kaninang 4 o'clock yung the prosecutors from the House of Representatives should have appeared before us to read the articles of impeachment. But then this was changed. So from June 2, changed by the Senate President also, now
June 11.
it's June 11 at 4 p.m. So if the authority used to issue the original calendar was based on the fact that we were on break, now that we are not on break, could not have the Senate President waited for 3 p.m. and then we discussed moving the June 2 4 p.m. to June 11 4 p.m.?
Because, Your Honor, notice had to be given to the House with respect to the proposed change in schedule. And we could not decide on moving it after the House members are already here in the Senate. That was the reason behind it. Sir.
That was His Honor's judgment call, Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. President. Yes, Your Honor.
Just on another matter, Mr. President, yung appearance ba ng House prosecutors ay nasa Senate impeachment rules or you just took this from American practice, Mr. President?
It is not in the rules. That was lifted from American practice because what was done before was that the majority leader, the Senate majority leader, was the one that read the articles of impeachment that was referred to the Committee on Rules that triggered the convening of the impeachment court. When we researched on it, we thought it was more proper, given that we should have no part in it, in the impeachment trial, in the prosecution of the impeachment case, that the prosecutors should themselves read the articles of impeachment, as is the practice in the United States, where we lifted most of our impeachment rules.
So it's an innovation. But although had we done it, hindi naman, I don't think it would be fatal or make the proceedings infirm. So it's just not, to use the term of the majority leader, textually required under the existing Senate impeachment rules. Hindi pa ba?
No, what
Yeah.
was required by our rules, if at all, was the referral of the impeachment complaint in plenary. Because mere filing with the Secretary General does not often by itself operate as the receipt by the Senate in plenary, given that, as with any communication, it has to be referred in plenary, officially by the Senate as a body.
Mr. President.
Sige, Mr. President.
With the permission.
Senator Tolentino is recognized. What is your pleasure, sir?
Would the loaded question of the good minority leader, if decoded, would mean that should the presentment be made before the Senate sitting as a plenary, or should the presentment be made before the Senate constituted as an impeachment court? Baka yun po yung tanong nyo.
But it was the Senate President to research on American practice. How do they do? How do they do it in the United
In
States?
plenary, Your Honors, not as an impeachment court, because again, mere receipt by the SecGen does not operationalize or start the process of impeachment. Any communication, and that is a communication from the House, must be referred by plenary to the appropriate committee for proper action. That in turn will now trigger, if at all, the convening of the impeachment court, where the regular processes would now be followed, such as the issuance of summons, etc., etc.
May we know the rule, Mr. President, that it
I'm
should
sorry?
be? May we know what the specific rule is? That in the rules, or is that by practice or costumbre? Tingnan niyo ano rule.
Under Rule 3, Paragraph 2, upon presentation of the articles to the Senate shall specify the date and time for the consideration of the articles.
Yes, but
So the articles need to be presented to the Senate.
yes, but so your honor is reading our Senate impeachment rules.
Yes.
Correct. So when we use the Senate in the Senate impeachment rules, we're talking about, we could be talking about the Senate as the impeachment court. Because
We
it's the
have-
Senate.
And by virtue of the procedure in Articles 1 to 3, we have not yet convened the court, Your Honor. For example, succeeding rules in our impeachment rules, 4 onwards, would pertain to the Senate already as an impeachment court, because that is already the trial proper, beginning with the issuance of summons.
Mr. President, the second sentence already contradicts his honor, because it says, second sentence of that second paragraph of Rule 3, unless the Senate provides otherwise, it shall continue in session from day to day. Session na yan as court. Kasi until final judgment eh. Yun na yun eh. So, the use of, when we use Senate in the Senate impeachment rules, we refer to the Senate as the court.
Mr. President.
According to the Secretariat, Your Honor, the dividing line is when we take our oath as senator judges and convene as such. Because we will be wearing 2 hats, Your Honor. As senators, performing our legislative and legislative function, and as members of the impeachment court, performing our sui generis function. And these are 2 distinct, if at all, hats and functions that we would be performing. That's why we have to adjourn session and convene as an impeachment court, and vice versa if we want to revert back as a plenary.
Well, Mr. President, ano na lang for so as to
Mr. President.
our staff can revisit. Ito yung sentence natin, ano? Second paragraph of Rule 3 of the Senate impeachment rules. Upon presentation of the articles to the Senate shall specify the date and time for the consideration of such articles. Unless the Senate provides otherwise, it shall continue in session from day to day until final judgment shall be rendered, and so much longer as may in its judgment be necessary. So, are we using the word Senate in one paragraph in two concepts? One as Senate legislative body and the other as the court?
I believe so, Mr.
Correct.
President,
Ganun na yan.
Your Honor. But again, since these manifestations, also the manifestation made by our distinguished majority floor leader himself earlier, after these manifestations are made, these matters and these statements will be referred to the Committee on Rules for them to look into it. We have time, Mr. President, Your Honor, to resolve this matter in due course in the next couple of days.
Mr. President,
Yes.
if I can direct this question to the good minority leader. The Senate, even if not acting as an impeachment court, pwede po bang tumanggap ng mga non-members of this chamber to speak or make a presentation, a presentment? Di po ba naaalala natin ng mga nakaraang panahon, pumupunta rito yung President of Vietnam, if I'm not mistaken. Distinguished guests of this chamber are allowed to speak, not just honored. Ganun po ba yung sinasabi nyo? Na baka are the members of the House, though constituted as panel of prosecutors, can they enter the Senate, this chamber, constituted as a plenary or as an impeachment court or both? Pag pinapayagan ng Senado. Baka ganun po siguro ang gustong malaman ng ating minority leader.
Just for the information of the majority leader, yung appearance of the House prosecutors before the Senate kanina sanang 4 o'clock, June 2, appeared in the impeachment calendar prepared by the Senate President. Hindi ako may idea nun. At saka, when we read our Senate impeachment rules, wala din dun yun.
So they will
That's
be
why-
appearing
that's why it's
before an impeachment court.
That's,
Yun po.
that's why this is the request for information. Now, what did the Senate President have in mind when he scheduled this for June 2? And I think it's clearly, since 4 p.m. siya, it's clearly an appearance before Senate,
Yes.
the plenary session of the Senate.
Again, the
Yes.
basis is US practice. That is how they do it in the United States, where we lifted portions of our own impeachment rules. That's where it came from. Practice and precedents in the United States.
And per our legislative rules, we can waive the rules so that we
can
allow
suspend the
non-members
rules to allow
speak. Diba dito, recently nagsalita rin si former UN Secretary
Korean,
General.
South Korean.
Huh?
The South Korean.
Yes, that's UN Secretary General. So
That can be
so we
allowed.
can do it. Yes, yes.
Again, that can be allowed. Again, plenary action is necessary and the plenary will decide on this matter.
So just a few more requests for information, Mr. President. So, Mr. President, His Honor, around 4 days ago, sent notice that the June 2, 4 p.m. appearance of the panel of prosecutors will be moved to June 11, 4 p.m.
Yes.
So, okay. Now, what is now the calendar that His Honor has in mind? Kasi dati meron kang June 2, 4 p.m. appearance, then June 3 morning, we convene the Senate as an impeachment court. So where is that? Where is this convening now? Where is it now when you move the appearance to June 11?
Sabay na po, because by that time, by June 11, wala na rin po tayong hinahabol na kailangan i-second or i-approve kung meron man, ratification na lamang ng mga bicameral conference committee reports. And we will be doing both at the same time. if at all, the reading of the articles of impeachment, the referral to the Committee on Rules, the convening of the impeachment court, if at all again, the oath of the senator judges, if at all again, all that we can do as an impeachment court would be to issue summons
Yes, yes. Oh,
requiring the respondent to answer within 10 days.
but were we sent notices na ganun ang mangyayari?
I'm
Now,
sorry.
were the senators sent notices or informed that after the appearance of the House panel of prosecutors, there's a possibility that we will convene as a court?
That was-
Para ready kami.
Wala pa.
Wala pa nga po. Kaya
Wala
malapit na
pa.
po yung June 11.
Wala pa naman talaga eh. Kasi nung pinadala yung notice na yun, it was addressed, if you notice, it was addressed to the House that they will be presenting the articles of impeachment on that date. The notice insofar as the impeachment court itself is concerned, these discussions would be very helpful, Your Honor, because this will be part of how the Senate as a body will be deciding on what to do after the articles of impeachment shall have been read and presented before the body.
Yes, but Mr. President, nung in-issue kasi ninyo yung impeachment calendar last February, at least you were that detailed na sinabi nyo na po yung convening of the impeachment court. Ngayon sana po, nung dinifer si June to appearance, sana pati po yung convening as an impeachment court, nasabi na rin when that is para may idea.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to clarify. Since that is our last day, this representation has no intentions of actually convening the court, if at all, on another date other than the 11th, unless the Senate as an impeachment court provides otherwise. So we will be convening on that date, barring any unforeseen circumstances, barring any procedural motions that will be made, and will be settled by the plenary at that time.
Well, Mr. President, ito lang for the consumption of our staff and secretariat. It was just pointed out to me that the rule that we mentioned earlier, second paragraph of Rule 3, yung first paragraph pala, it provides that nakapag-oath na. Nakapag-oath na ang member. So if that is now the dividing line, we have crossed the line. So Senate na po ito as a court. So tignan na lang po muli, Mr. President.
Mr. President, Your Honor, the first paragraph refers to consideration of the articles of impeachment. The second paragraph, we were not part of the Senate that wrote these rules. The first paragraph, it mentions the word consideration. The second paragraph mentions the word presentation. In terms of time, presentation should come first before consideration, although as it appears in our rules, consideration was mentioned first in the first paragraph and before presentation in the second paragraph. But in terms of order, Your Honor, presentation should logically come first before consideration of the articles of impeachment.
And then
Where there is nothing to consider unless presented.
And then in the next breath, it talks about the trial na.
Yes, again, we had no part in writing these rules.
Okay,
I
so
would not
yes,
want to critique it as well because during those times, perhaps this was apt and sufficient.
So Mr. President, maybe now kasi ang media nagtatanong sa akin, pinapa-speculate pa ako na just for the record, what is now the reason that His Honor has taken the initiative to reset the June 2 2025 4 p.m. appearance of the panel of prosecutors before the Senate plenary to June 11 4 p.m. What's
In
the
the
main
letter
reason, Mr.
addressed to Speaker Martin, copy furnished to all of the senators as well as Vice President Sara Duterte. Given the meeting we had at LEDAC with His Honor's presence, several bills needed to be approved and taken up before we finally finish and wind up the 19th Congress. Meaning to say some bills need to be approved on second reading within the week today so that we can do third reading next week. Some bills have to be approved on third reading today and within this week so that bicameral conference committees can finalize and iron out the disagreeing provisions between the Senate and House versions so that we would still have time next week to either ratify these bicameral conference committee reports or still do third reading in compliance with the constitutional requirement of 3 readings on 3 separate days, at least 3 days after it's approved and second reading.
So, sige, last question na lang, Mr.
Apa.
President. Per our rules or practice, how would we now react to the receipt of the articles of impeachment last February 5, 2025? How should the Senate, as a legislative body in plenary session, react to that receipt?
In line with Article 1 of our impeachment rules, which makes mention of the authority and responsibility of the President of the Senate. That is why I set the schedule for the articles to be read in plenary, which in turn would trigger, if at all, the creation of the impeachment court, which, if at all, would now proceed with the issuance of summons for the respondent or defendant.
Would not the impeachment complaint received last February 5, 2025 be included in the reference of business? Ano ito? Ito ba ay person?
It will be included in the reference of business, yes. Supposedly today, kung natuloy tayo today, but on June 11, so that it can be included in the agenda for that particular day.
That's my point, Mr. President. Kung i-reference of business, why are we not doing it today? Anong damage kung gawin natin today?
Pwede rin naman, hindi pa tayo
Yes.
nagbabasa ng reference
Yes,
of
yun na nga.
business. Pero wala, no?
Are we doing it today? Kasi February 5 pa yun. That's why I'm mentioning the date that it was received, February 5. So can we include it in the reference of business today? Kasi parang mas normal eh. Mas normal yun eh. Kung
We will look into it, Your Honor. I tend to agree with this Honor's position. We
just
will take it up with the Secretary.
It's just normal, Mr.
Yes,
President.
yes, yes.
Received last February 5, we're reporting out today. Okay?
Off the record, they explained the reason behind it. But I tend to agree with Your Honor, and I'll ask the Secretary to consider it. Because in the past, as they said, it was the majority leader who read it and not the prosecutors, supposedly. So it was included in the reference of business, referred to the Rules Committee, and the majority leader was the one who reported it out, quote unquote. But now, given that it's the prosecutors that will read the articles of impeachment, again, following US practice and precedent, the Secretary thought it best that it'll be included in the agenda on that day because there is no referral to the Committee on Rules. But again, we will look into it and we will take the suggestion of the gentleman in light of the points he raised in connection with that.
Because I believe there should have been also a letter accompanying the impeachment complaint. There must have been a cover letter from the House. So, parang ganon. So we can...
Only by the section, not by the Speaker nor any member of the House.
Yes. But is a letter from the SecGen also a communication from the House?
It was a covering letter only.
Yeah. So I think this is just an opinion.
I tend to agree, Your Honor.
It's more natural that we report out if something happened last February 5, late evening of late in the session on February 5. Something happened, we report it out so it's more natural if we report it out immediately, Mr. President. So
I tend to agree, Your Honor.
that's
Again,
my point, Mr. President.
I will take it up with the committee secretary.
So with that, Mr. President, I thank you for answering my questions.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I just wanted to request some information. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Honor. What is the pleasure of the Honorable Ontiveros?
Salamat, Tabi, Mr. President. Gusto kong magdagdag ng point dun sa binanggit pareho ng majority leader, ng minority leader at pati ng Senate President, yung references sa US practice and precedent. Kaugnay nung isa sa mga issue na pinag-usapan dito sa floor, kung pwede ba o dapat bang mag-carry over yung impeachment process mula sa 19th Congress hanggang sa 20th Congress. And I would just like to put this on the record, Mr. President. Galing po ito sa isang piyesa authored ni UP Professor Paulo Tamase, nag-appear po sa June 2025 issue ng Philippine Law Journal. Sabi po dito, Emerging Issues in Impeachment, page 19 dun sa journal, allowing impeachment to cross over Congresses is consistent with American practice. Following the practice of the United Kingdom, Thomas Jefferson's Manual of Parliamentary Practice states that an, quote, impeachment is not discontinued by the dissolution of Parliament, but may be resumed by the new Parliament, close quote. The US Congress na binanggit ng Majority Leader, ng Minority Leader at ng Senate President, the US Congress has observed this for over 200 years. From the 1803 impeachment of Judge John Pickering to that of Judge Porteus in 2009. In Congress, impeachment proceedings are not discontinued by a recess. The following impeachment proceedings extended from one Congress to the next. 5 pong halimbawa, Mr. President, sa article na ito. Babangkitin ko lang yung pang-apat kasi yun pamilyar sa ating mga Pilipino. 4. The impeachment of President Clinton was presented to the Senate after the Senate had adjourned sine die. After, Mr. President, the Senate had adjourned sine die for the 105th Congress, and the Senate conducted the trial in the 106th Congress, Mr. President. So, for the record lamang po, dahil very, very pertinent sa binanggit ng Majority Leader, ng Minority Leader, at pati ng Senate President na following US practice and precedent. And with one very recent concrete example po dun sa impeachment ni US President Clinton. So I hope that we can consider this in our own decision-making, Mr. President, even after the rescheduled presentation by the House prosecutors to the Senate as an impeachment court on 11th June. Salamat tabi, Mr. President.
Duly noted and entered into the records. Majority Floor Leader.
Just to reiterate again, yung nabanggit ko po kanina nga, magkaiba yung sa Philippine Senate at US Senate kasi ang naiiwan sa US Senate tuwing mag-ieleksyon ay 67 senators, enough to constitute a quorum out of 100 senators and enough to convict or acquit. Sa atin po, 12 lang, not enough to have a quorum of 13, more so a number of 16 to convict or acquit. But be that as it may, Mr. President, we have all the discussions done, and I think this would really be part not just of the discussions that whatever case would be elevated to the Supreme Court would eventually be decided in the near term. Mr. President, I seek a minute suspension, Mr. President.
Session is suspended.
Of the body, I move to reconsider the approval on second reading of House Bill number 7500. This is the bill on the aquaculture feed mill plant in Panay, Capiz. I believe that it is in the best of our interest to take an opportunity to refine the provisions of this bill in the period of amendment. So I move, Mr. President, that we recognize as we open the period of amendments, the sponsor, Senator Cynthia Villar.
Any objection to the reconsideration of the earlier approval of House Bill number 7500? Hearing none, motion is approved. Any objection to the opening of the period of amendments? Hearing none, motion is approved. Senator Villar is recognized to propound amendments to the aforementioned bill. You may proceed, ma'am.
Mr. President, additional omnibus amendment, House Bill number 7500, or the aquaculture feed mill plant of the province of Capiz. Mr. President, on the earlier approved on second reading clean copy of House Bill number 7500, we further propose an omnibus amendment to replace the phrase Municipality of Panay with the phrase Province of Capiz. This omnibus amendment will affect line 10, 20, and 24 on page 1 and line 17 on page 2 of the clean copy. That's all, Mr. President. Thank you.
Any objection to the proposed amendment? Hearing none, amendment is approved. Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. President, there being no other additional amendments, I move to close the period of amendments.
Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move that we approve on second reading House Bill number 7500. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, House Bill number 7500 is approved on second reading. Majority Floor Leader.
I move that we suspend consideration House Bill number 7500.
Any objection? Hearing none, consideration of the aforementioned bill is now suspended.
Mr. President, I move that we resume consideration of Senate Bill number 2821 under Committee Report number 320. This is the bill on the Accelerated and Reformed Right-of-Way Act. So move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved.
The parliamentary status of the bill is that we have approved the amendment by substitution on January 20, 2025 without prejudice to the members asking questions on the measure. With that, I move to recognize the sponsor, Senator Mark Villar, and to propound questions, our Minority Leader, Senator Aquilino Comitel.
Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Senator Villar is recognized, I understand, to propound additional amendments or
We're open to interpolations at this point from Senator.
Session is suspended.
President, pansamantalahong sinuspindi ang session ng Senado at kaugnay ho nitong iba't ibang mga panukala na kanila hong tinatalakay sa nalalapit hong pagtatapos o pagsasara dito pong 19th Congress. Key points lamang, kabilang ho sa mga key points na nakita natin kanina pinag-usapan, siyempre nakatutok ang marami sa ating mga kababayan. Ito hong impeachment trial ni Vice President Sara Duterte. At kanina ilan ho sa mga naipresenta, iginigiit ni Senator Pimentel na hindi para sa kanya yung manifestation niya hindi raw totoo na kung matapos ang 19th Congress ay hindi na pwedeng ma-carry over sa 20th Congress. Ito pong kaso na naisampa laban ho sa ating pangalawang Pangulo. Kanina naman narinig natin, nagbigay din ng kanyang manifestation itong si Senator Francis Tolentino. Kabila ho dun sa kanyang binabanggit, ay walang sapat na quorum. Ito ho, nagbabalik ko ang Senado, bigay ko sa inyo ang patuloy na
Mr. President, I withdraw my previous motion. Instead, I move that we proceed to the reference of business.
Any objection? Hearing none. Uy, sino magbabasa? Motion is approved. Senate Secretary is directed to take up the reference of business.
Bills on first reading. Senate Bill number 2988, an act prescribing additional requirements for labeling and packaging fruit and vegetable juices, amending for the purpose Articles 4 and 84 of RA number 7394 as amendment, otherwise known as the Consumer Act of the Philippines by Senate President Escudero.
To the Committees on Health and Demography, Trade and Commerce, and Entrepreneurship.
Senate Bill number 2989, an act regulating children's use of social media towards promoting their safety, well-being, and responsible digital use by Senator Padilla.
To the Committees on Public Information and Mass Media and Science and Technology.
Senate number 2990, increasing the bed capacity at Overseas Filipino Workers Hospital from 50 beds to 100 beds, appropriating funds therefore. Senator Go.
To the Committees on Health, Demography, and Finance.
2991, providing for a new visa category for digital nomads, appropriating funds therefore. Senator Villanueva.
To the Committees on Justice and Human Rights, Ways and Means, and Finance.
2992, creating an additional legislative district in the province of Cebu to be known as the 8th Legislative District. Senator Marcos.
To the Committee on Rules.
2993, establishing a campus of the Cebu Normal University in Argao, Cebu, to be known as the Cebu Normal University Argao Campus, and appropriating funds therefore.
The Committee on Higher Technical Vocational Education and Finance.
299.
Senate Bill number 2994, an act strengthening the Philippine shoe industry, providing incentives to local manufacturers and for other purposes by Senator Pimentel III.
The Committees on Trade, Commerce, and Entrepreneurship, Ways and Means, and Finance.
Senate Bill number 2995, an act creating the Talampas ng Pilipinas Oil Corporation, defining its powers and functions and providing funds therefore and for other purposes by Senator Tolentino.
To the Committees on Government Corporations and Public Enterprise and Finance.
Senate Bill number 2996, an act creating the Talampas ng Pilipinas Development Authority, defining its powers and functions, providing funds therefore and for other purposes by Senator Tolentino.
The Committees on Government Corporations and Public Enterprise and Finance.
Senate Bill number 2997, an act recognizing the city of Marikina as the shoe capital of the Philippines by Senator Pimentel III.
To the Committee on Tourism.
Senate Bill number 2998, an act establishing a special economic zone in the province of Bohol, creating for that purpose the Northern Bohol Special Economic Zone Authority, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes by Senator Marcos.
The Committees on Economic Affairs, Local Government, Ways and Means, and Finance.
Resolutions. PSR number 1313, resolution commending and congratulating Dia Mate for winning the 2025 Reina Hispano-Americana pageant held in Santa Cruz, Bolivia on February 10, 2025 by Senator Estrada.
The Committee on Rules.
PSR number 1314, resolution commending and congratulating the Philippine men's curling team composed of Mark Angelo Pfister, Enrico Gabriel Pfister, Alan Beat Frey, Christian Patrick Haller, and Benjo de la Marte for winning the country's first ever gold medal in the Asian Winter Games held in Harbin, People's Republic of China from 7 to 14 February 2025 by Senator Estrada.
The Committee on Rules.
Resolution number 1315, congratulating and commending the Philippine team for winning the gold medal in the men's curling event on the 2025 Asian Winter Games, making history for claiming the country's first ever podium finish in the international multi-sport event by Senator Villanueva.
To the Committee on Rules.
Resolution number 1316, directing the Senate Committee on Basic Education to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the reported ghost students in the senior high school voucher program of the Department of Education by Senator Estrada.
The Committee on Basic Education.
Resolution number 1317, directing the appropriate Senate Committee to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the reported proliferation of love scams with the end in view of reevaluating and strengthening the policy banning Philippine offshore gaming operations and reassessing the policy on the use of cryptocurrency and the effectiveness of RA number 10175 and other related laws and policies by Senator Gatchalian.
The Committees on Banks, Financial Institutions, and Currencies.
Resolution number 1318, directing the appropriate Senate Committee to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the tax leakages as a result of the continued smuggling of high-end luxury vehicles by Senator Gatchalian.
To the Committee on Ways and Means.
Resolution number 1319, directing the appropriate Senate Committee to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation into the recurring incidents of collapsing bridges in the Philippines to seek accountability from all responsible public officials, contractors, and other parties involved, and to assess the adequacy of current infrastructure policies with any view of ensuring the safety and reliability of bridge structures nationwide by Senator Pimentel III.
The Committee on Accountability of Public Officers and Investigations.
Resolution number 1320, commending and congratulating multi-awarded Filipina film and television actress Judy Ann Santos Agoncillo for winning the Best Actress trophy from the 45th Fantos Porto Film Festival in Porto, Portugal, Senator Estrada.
The Committee on Rules.
Resolution number 1321, directing the appropriate Senate Committee to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the necessity and propriety of imposing a local content requirement for locally assembled vehicles and providing tax incentives for local automotive parts manufacturers with any view of crafting a legislation or policy recommendation as may be necessary by Senator Gatchalian. Trade, Commerce,
Committee on Trade and Commerce
and Ways and Means.
and Ways and Means.
Resolution number 1322, directing the Committee on Accountability of Public Officers and Investigation to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the sudden collapse of the Cabagan Santa Maria Bridge in the province of Isabela, less than a month after it was completed and open to the public, leaving 6 persons injured to look into the process and protocols of the Department of Public Works and Highways from planning to bidding to construction to inspection and to the testing of public infrastructure projects in order to ensure public safety and how the DPWH deals with errant and abusive contractors by Senator Alan Cayetano.
The Committee on Accountability of Public Officers and Investigations.
Resolution number 1323, directing the Committee on Accountability of Public Officers and Investigations to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation and oversight on the cancellation by the Department of Environment and Natural Resources of its supplemental joint venture agreement with Blue Star Construction Development Corporation for the establishment of a government housing complex within the Masungi Geo Reserve by Senator Alan Cayetano.
The Committee on Accountability of Public Officers and Investigations.
Ito mga resolution. Resolution number 1324, directing the appropriate Senate Committee to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the continuous proliferation of tax scams vis-a-vis the implementation of the SIM Registration Act by Senator Gatchalian.
The Committee on Public Services.
Resolution number 1325, urging the Department of Labor and Employment to strengthen the enforcement of occupational safety standards, employer accountability in light of reported labor rights violation and hazardous working condition by Senator Tulfo.
The Committee on Labor, Employment, and Human Resources Development.
Resolution 1326, directing the Senate Committee on Blue Ribbon to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the expired and wasted drugs, medicine, and medical supplies under the management of the Department of Health, Senator Villanueva.
The Committees on Accountability of Public Officers and Investigations and Health and Demography.
Resolution number 1327, commending and congratulating Filipino Olympian and National Pride Ernest John PJ Obiena for a successful campaign in the 2025 pole vault indoor season and winning 1 silver and 2 gold medals by Senator Estrada.
The Committee on Rules.
Resolution number 1328, resolution directing the Senate Special Committee on Philippine Maritime and Admiralty Zones to conduct an inquiry in need of legislation on the alleged maritime spying activities conducted by 6 Chinese nationals and 1 Filipino in Subic, Zambales, who were arrested by the National Bureau of Investigation last March 2025 by Senator Tolentino.
To the Special Committee on Philippine Maritime and Admiralty Zones.
Resolution number 1329 directing the appropriate Senate committee to conduct an inquiry in need of legislation into the situation and security of non-Moro indigenous peoples in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, including the reported killings and acts of violence against them with the end view of strengthening legislative frameworks to protect their rights, ensure their safety, preserve their cultures, traditions, and institutions, and uphold their dignity and well-being by Senator Legarda.
The Committees on Cultural Communities and Muslim Affairs and Justice and Human Rights.
Solution number 1330, commending and congratulating Filipina tennis player Alex Maniego Ayala for her historic and record-setting achievements in Miami Open held in Florida, USA from March 18 to 30, 2025 by Senator Estrada.
The Committee on Rules. Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. President, I move that we resume consideration of Senate Bill number 2821 under Committee Report number 320. This is the bill on the Accelerated and Reformed Right-of-Way Act. So move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Senator Villar is recognized to propound amendments to the measure. You may proceed, sir.
Thank you. Mr. President, based on our consultation with the stakeholders and our colleagues, we've come up with a few amendments to Senate Bill number 2821, or the Accelerated and Reformed Right-of-Way, as follows. Under Section 4, Modes of Acquiring Real Property, on page 4, line 19, delete 25 and replace it with 18. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none. Motion is approved. Minority Floor Leader.
I think there's a change in the is that the maximum or minimum? The changing from 25 meters to
18.
1/8.
Yes, yes.
1/8.
Equivalent to roughly 6 stories. If each floor would be at 3 meters each.
Hindi, fifth. Ano ba? Fifth? Ano ba sinabi niya? 50?
From 25 to 18, Mr. President.
With the bill. So, yes, I've been clarified, Mr. President. So the law has been already changed in the
In the amended, yes, in the committee report.
the
Yes.
committee report, and we are further amending.
Amending it.
Thank you, Mr.
The gentleman may proceed.
On the same page, after line 19, insert the following phrase. Provide that the implementing agency or private entity shall, during the design process, avoid existing subsurface structures to the extent that it is technically reasonable, and provided further that if existing structures cannot be avoided, such structures shall be duly compensated pursuant to this act. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection to the proposed amendment? Hearing none, amendment is approved.
On page 5, after line 23, insert a new subparagraph C, which shall read as follows. C, subject to relevant laws, rules, and regulations, the government or private entity may enter into agreements with property owners or national government agencies and government-owned or controlled corporations for donation, lease, use of rock, joint use, easement, right-of-way usage agreements, permit to enter, or other similar right to use the property necessary for infrastructure projects. The provisions of this act shall apply superlatorily to such agreements. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection to the proposed amendment? Hearing none, amendment is approved.
Under Section 5, entry and use of property within ancestral domains. On page 5, line 26, delete the entire new Section 5 and replace it with the following provision. Section 5, entry and use of property within ancestral domains. In the exercise of the power of eminent domain, which involves the acquisition of land within ancestral domains covered by certificates of ancestral domain title or are confirmed by the National Commission on Indigenous People to be a part of the ancestral domain but are pending issuance of the CATI, the provisions of the Republic Act number 8371 or the Indigenous Peoples' Right Act of 1997 shall apply.
Any objection to the proposed amendment? Hearing none, amendment is approved.
Under Section 6, Rules on Negotiated Sale, on page 8, line 12, insert the acronym DHSUD after the word development. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection to the proposed amendment? Hearing none, amendment is approved.
On page 8, line 21, after the word tax, delete the period and insert comma. The phrase from page 8, line 25 to 27, which states that as well as the documentary stamp tax, transfer tax, and registration fees, while the property owner shall pay any unpaid real property tax, shall be moved after the said comma. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection to the proposed amendment? Hearing none, amendment is approved.
Mr. President, can I read I made an incomplete motion. I should have read the paragraph to be inserted. Can I move to add the following paragraph? Can I move? I'll make a motion to insert the following
The
paragraph.
gentleman may proceed.
To facilitate the payment of taxes, the implementing agency may deposit or transfer funds in advance to the Bureau of Internal Revenue, which shall be deemed paid from the said funds for all taxes arising from the sale as they fall due. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection to the proposed amendment? Hearing none, amendment is approved.
On page 9, line 7, delete the period before the sentence, the implementing agency. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection to the proposed amendment? Hearing none, amendment is approved.
In the same page and line, delete the sentence, the implementing agency or the private entity shall cause the annotation of the deed of absolute sale on the certificate of title. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, amendment is approved.
On page 10, line 21, insert after the word Philippines, the phrase or the private entity. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection to the proposed amendment? Hearing none, amendment is approved.
Under Section 9, relocation of informal settlers. On page 15, line 22, delete Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection to the proposed amendment? Hearing none, amendment is approved.
In the same page, line 23, delete the open and close parentheses of the acronym DHSUD. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection to the proposed amendment? Hearing none, amendment is approved.
On page 16, after line 10, insert a new section 11, which shall read as follows. Section 11, relocation of utilities and facilities owned by utility providers affected by a national government project. The just compensation related to relocation of utilities owned by utility providers affected by a national government project shall be determined based on the guidelines of the concerned regulatory body. This shall include, but is not limited to, compensation for direct and indirect costs. The interagency committee constituted under Section 18 of this act shall issue the implementing rules and regulations for this provision. Subsequent sections shall be renumbered accordingly. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection to the proposed amendment? Hearing none, amendment is approved.
Under Section 11, appropriations for acquisition of right-of-way site or location for national government infrastructure projects in advance of project implementation. On page 16, line 30, delete the word and. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection to the proposed amendment? Hearing none, amendment is approved.
On page 17, line 3, delete the period and replace it with a semicolon and insert the word and. I so move, Mr. President.
Hearing none, amendment is approved.
In the same page, after line 3, insert a new subparagraph E, which shall read as follows. E, such other entitlements that are necessary to allow project affected persons to return to their respective way of life prior to the implementation of the project, such as but not limited to 1, transportation costs, 2, subsistence allowance or inconvenience allowance, 3, resettlement assistance or rental subsidy, 4, business income loss, and 5, skills training. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection to the proposed amendment? Hearing none, amendment is approved.
On page 18, after line 22, insert a new section 14, which shall read as follows. Section 14, guidelines on information sharing and assistance for right-of-way acquisition all concerned departments, agencies, instrumentalities, bureaus, and offices of the government, including GOCCs and LGUs, and private entities, shall extend prompt assistance and provide relevant data for acquisition of right-of-way by implementing agencies or private entities. This shall include, but is not limited to, information and support related to appraisal, expropriation, resettlement of informal settler families, utility relocation, and permitting. The Interagency Committee constituted under Section 18 of this Act shall issue the implementing rules and guidelines for this provision, and the subsequent sections shall be renumbered accordingly. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection to the proposed amendment? Hearing none, amendment is approved.
A new Section 15 is hereby inserted after the new Section 14, and the subsequent section
What
shall...
page are we in, Your Honor?
This is on page 18.
You may proceed, sir.
A new Section 15 is hereby inserted after the new Section 14, and the subsequent section shall be renumbered accordingly. The new section shall be read as follows. Section 15, Foreign Assisted Projects, the guidelines and procedures concerning right-of-way acquisition, including resettlement action plans under the approved loan or grant agreement signed and executed by the Government of the Philippines and the official development assistance institutions shall be observed. Additionally, the required international social safeguards and/or environmental, social, and governance guidelines for PPP projects or projects with a PPP component where an international financing institution handles project preparation and transaction advisory service shall also be observed. In case of conflict or ambiguity between the provisions of this Act and the ODA guidelines, including the relevant international social safeguards and/or environmental, social, and governance guidelines, the latter shall prevail. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection to the proposed amendment? Hearing none, amendment is approved.
Under Section 18, Implementing Rules and Regulations. On page 19, line 30, delete National Economic Development Authority and replace it with the Department of Economy, Planning, and Development. On page 20, line 2, delete Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development and replace it with the acronym DHSUD. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection to the proposed amendment? Hearing none, amendment is approved.
That will be all, Mr. President.
Majority Floor Leader.
With no other amendment, I move to close the period of individual amendment.
Any objection? Hearing none, period of amendment is now closed.
I move to approve on second reading Senate Bill number 2821. So move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, aforementioned bill is approved on second reading. Congratulations to the author.
I move that we suspend consideration of Senate Bill number 2821.
Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Session is suspended.